I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. Whoa. Boy, I came into a bad part of town. Should have turned up that first block. That thing looked, it looked bad, that first block. I'm not even going to go back to it. So Florida is the 29th most dangerous state in America. So it's in the bottom half as far as danger, so it's doing good. It's one of the better states. A lot of graffiti that is paid for on that wall and other graffiti mixed in. So the population here is 997,000, and it's been rising basically since the city exists. It's the largest city in Florida, and it's the largest city by land area in the lower 48. I imagine like Anchorage or some city in Alaska covers a larger land area, but this is in the lower 48. This one covers the largest land area. And in case you wanted to know who it was named after, it was named for Andrew Jackson. It's 48% white and 29% black. And those are the two dominant races here. Average age is 36, so a little on the older side, but not really. Has a 57% home ownership rate, which is pretty good for a large city like this. For 57% of the population to own their home, that's really good. Typically a city this size, it would be, you know, 45 or something like that. So to have 57% of the population owning their own home, that's almost incredible actually. It's really good. The average income here is $44,000. So that's actually pretty good too, especially for how large the city is. There's a 15% poverty rate. Again, another number that's actually really good. Typically these cities, that's right at the US average, by the way. The US average is 15.1. There's quite a bit of signs of graffiti here though, at least in the way that we're coming in here, and it looks like there's a lot of homeless people that I'm seeing on the streets. But the pavement on the roads is really good so far. And do the garbage check. So far nothing looks overly, there's not a ton of garbage. So far the things that I look at, those are the four things I look at. So far there's been a lot of graffiti and there's been quite a few homeless people. But the pavement is fine, and I don't really see a whole lot of garbage yet anyway. There's a 42% marriage rate, which is actually pretty good for a city of this size. 48% of the people that live here were either born in Jacksonville or born in Florida. Yeah, there's a lot more graffiti right there. Let's just let these people cross. Tourists. And 88% of the residents here are native born or native born to America, and they're showing 6% non-citizens. They don't, the bad part about a city like this is they're not a city that submits their crime numbers to the FBI, or at least not consistently. So getting accurate crime data is harder because a lot of websites you get the data from, they're more or less just kind of guessing on what they think it would be and not going by actual data provided, you know, to America from the FBI, from the city. So we're gonna go with the information that we can get. Homicides, typically you can get that number, and typically that number is accurate. They had 160 homicides in 2022, 147 in 2023. And the police are working on a 65 to 70% clearance rate on homicides, which is pretty good. the average across the United States is about 50%. So 65 to 70% on the homicides, it's not, I mean, really, it's not that good if you really think about it. But as far as what cities are doing in America, like across the board, it's really good compared to that. And this Jacksonville has a reputation that precedes them as being the murder capital of Florida. Now, whether that's a well-earned one still or just something from the past, I do not know. This building needs some repair or needs to be torn down. Lots of graffiti, broken windows. So in the mid to late 80s, they had murder rates over 200 per 100,000 people. But it's now, now it's a lot better. The cost of living is right around the national average. The schools, 50% of the kids graduate proficient at reading and math. Now we're getting to where there's starting to be a little bit of garbage on the side of the road, but not anything too bad. But all on the side, the left side, in these trees and in the brush they have there, it's all covered with garbage. The school's 50% of the kids graduate proficient at reading and math. The state of Florida, it's 55% graduated at 12th grade level for reading and math, and in the U.S. it's only 48%. So Florida as a state does better than the U.S. average, and Jacksonville's no different. They're better than the U.S. average, but it's still not good. I mean, 50%, if only half the kids are graduating, able to read and do math at a 12th grade level, it's not anything to brag about. I mean, not even a little bit. 85% of the people that live here completed the 8th grade. Let's just go down one of these roads. 85% completed the 8th grade, and 84% have graduated high school, which is pretty good by U.S. standards, but it's not good. I mean, the standard in the U.S. has become so low that I mean, when less than 50% of the kids in the country graduate at a 12th grade level for reading and math, like just, I mean, a 12th grade level. We're not talking they're taking the accelerated algebra classes. We're talking they're just graduating at a 12th grade level. If you can't even graduate 50% of the kids from these schools at a level that is, equal to, we got some music playing. I had to close up the windows. Can't have YouTube hearing any music that's could possibly get you a copyright strike and get your a whole bunch of, I wonder what all those guys are waiting for right there. A whole bunch of people just lining the street there. Go up a couple more and then I'll turn and go see if we can get on a better road. But if you can't, I mean, I don't know what they expect is going to happen in America when the kids aren't graduating with any kind of knowledge. And you're not even graduating, 85% is considered good. If you can get 85% of the kids to graduate, just graduate, not even graduate learning anything, but just graduate. If you can get that to happen, that's considered good nowadays. But if only half of them can read or do math, I mean, half the time they say stupid stuff like, well, their phone can do the math for them. Yeah, I guess. And I guess you can talk into your phone and have it, send text messages for you and do emails for you, and maybe you don't even need to know how to learn to read or write or do math, because your phone can do it all for you. But if your phone dies, the battery on your phone dies, and you can't do anything because you're reliant on your phone to do everything for you, then what are you supposed to do? And you can't get a job, because you can't get a job even at, McDonald's or Burger King or something, because you can't even count back change. I literally don't know what they're expecting from these kids, because they're not learning anything. And when only 50% of your population, I'm trying to figure out, the GPS is kind of sending me, I don't know where it's sending me, but I'm going to go up this bridge or whatever it's taking me on. When the kids graduating, the John T. Elsop Jr. Bridge, when the kids graduating aren't learning enough to get real jobs, the crime level's not going to go down. The crime level's just going to keep going up. And the city's never going to get any better. And this is across the board. This isn't just Jacksonville. I'm not like picking on Jacksonville like, oh, they're bad or anything like that. This is across the board. This is what it's like. And none of these cities are going to get any better, because they're bringing up a class of people that can't really even do much for themselves. And then they bring in the foreign workers to do the work, because they can't find people here in America, apparently, to do it. So I don't know. Jacksonville didn't look too bad to me. I mean, there was a lot of graffiti. When I first started filming, and even like just a little bit before I first started filming, that was a shadier part of town. And once you got into downtown, it was okay. There was a lot of graffiti there, though, at first. And so those must be the areas where a lot of the trouble is happening. The downtown looked okay. It looked pretty clean. There was a lot of homeless people, but the roads are really nice. The roads are really good. So overall, it's not too bad. I should have looked up. This is one of the more larger cities in America. I mean, they're almost to 1 million people. It's one of the larger cities in America. I don't know what number they're at, but they're one of the larger cities. Largest in Florida, that's for sure. But I'm just going to let this play out a little bit longer. We somehow got out of the downtown and into whatever this area is. And I'm going to let it play out a little longer, but I hope you like this drive through Jacksonville, Florida.